You signed the contract, you paid the deposit, maybe you did everything right. You researched the developer, you liked the location, you figured this was your path into the Toronto real estate market. And now years later, you might be getting a letter telling you the project is cancelled. Or worse, you have no idea what's happening because the developer went silent. This is not imaginary, this is actually happening right now across the GTA. And today I'm going to show you which buildings went under, how many units and jobs have been wiped off the map, and what does this mean for you? And what does this mean for the future of Toronto real estate? Because there's a supply time bomb quietly ticking that almost nobody's talking about. Stay with me through this whole video because the last part is the part that matters most. Let's start with the scale of what we're dealing with. These are not small numbers. Since 2024, nearly 6,800 condo units in the GTA and Hamilton have been cancelled, put on hold, or converted to rental, or placed under receivership. That's from a research firm Urbanation. In 2024 alone, 14 condo projects were outright cancelled, the highest cancellation volume since the first year of the pandemic. New condo sales in the GTA have collapsed 75% since 2022. To put that in perspective, in Q2 of 2025, there were only 502 new condo sales across the entire GTA and Hamilton. That number is 91% below the 10-year average. These are 30-year low, and the job impact is already being felt. Industry groups are warning of up to 41,000 construction job losses. Toronto's housing starts are at their lowest since 1996, and the president of the Residential Construction Council of Ontario put it bluntly. He said the high-rise business from 2026 to 2028 is going to be, and I'm quoting here, very ugly. Skilled trades workers are being laid off in large numbers right now, and the fear is they leave the industry entirely and don't come back. Now let's look at some of these projects, and let's start with the most high profile one, the one at Yonge and Bloor, Sam Mizrahi flagship project. Supposed to be one of Canada's tallest buildings at 85 stories. It went into receivership in 2023, and by the time the court stepped in, the project had over $1.6 billion in debt. People who bought pre-construction units at 2017 and 2018 prices were not first in line to get their money back. The project has since moved under a different restructuring process, and buyers were offered access to new units, but at prices significantly higher because of luxury rebranding. That hurts. Imagine you're the buyer. Then there is 5220 Yonge Street in North York, a 31-story building that was almost at the finish line, nearly complete, and it still went into receivership in November 2025 with $185 million owing. The lender was accruing interest at almost $68,000 a year while the courts sorted out. Sanctuary Lofts at Hyde Park Avenue, that was a heritage church conversion, 69 luxury units, over $42 million owed to the creditors. Work stopped, buyers in the dark. Maplequest Venture in Brampton, 2 communities for thousands of families, $90 million in debt, pulled into receivership, and because another developer served as a guarantor, 2 communities in Caledon also got swept in. Vandyk Properties, 5 separate GTA projects by Mimico, from Brampton to Mississauga, all placed under receivership. Buyers on those projects spend years waiting and still don't know exactly when they'll get their homes. TAS, a well-known Toronto developer, lost their Dundas West site to receivership in March 2025 for $17.5 million. They hadn't been able to sell the land since the failed transaction back in 2022. And Birchley Park in East Toronto, 860 plus units cancelled in early 2025. It launched at 1,191 square foot. The problem, nearly resale condos were sitting at 850 a square foot. The math never worked from day one. Here's the part that I really want you to understand, because everything I've just told you is the present. What I'm about to tell you is the future, and it affects every single person watching this. Whether you own a condo, rent one, or you're planning to buy. Look at this chart. New condo construction starts in Toronto went from 24,000 units in 2022 down to just 2,500 through the first 3 quarters of 2025. That's the lowest number since the Province Condominium Act came into force in 1998. Here's why that matters. A condo project takes 3 to 5 years from groundbreaking to completion. That means the building that should have been delivering homes in 2027 and 2028 needed to break ground in 2024 and 2025. They didn't. So we're looking at a supply cliff in 2 to 3 years. And when demand comes back, and it will come back, there won't be enough inventory. Prices and rents will have to go back up. And the city itself is feeling the pain. Toronto's development charge revenue, fees collected from the development to fund infrastructure, is expected to come in at just 137 million this year. That's a 74% drop from the historical average. The city's own chief financial officer said this will likely force the deferral or cancellation of planned capital projects needed to support growth for the city. Every 1,000 condo units cancelled erase $400 million in economic activity from the GTA. When you stack up the 6,800 units that have been cancelled or put on hold, you're talking billions of dollars that never got built, never circulated, never created jobs, and never generated taxes. So where does this leave you if you bought a pre-construction unit between 2020 and 2023? You need to know your rights. You need to know what your contract actually says about cancellation, about closing timelines, about what happens if the developer can't perform. Some developers are suing buyers who couldn't close, and some buyers are sitting on deposits right now in projects that have quietly gone into receivership while the media covers something else. If you're thinking about buying right now, whether resale or pre-construction, this market requires a different conversation than it did 3 years ago. There are genuine opportunities right now for buyers who understand what's happening. But there are also landmines. And if you're planning to sell, understanding what buyers know and what they're afraid of is going to change how you position your home. I work with clients across the GTA every day, navigating exactly these situations. If you have a question about a pre-construction contract, a cancellation letter you received, or you just want to understand what this market means for your specific situation, book a free 30-minute call with me. The link is in the description, and if this video helps you understand what's actually happening in Toronto real estate right now, please hit like, share it with someone you know who needs to hear this, and subscribe, because I cover this market every week with no fluff. I'm Houtan Moravej with Big City Realty. I'll see you in the next one.